Music scene to my right, Shaney.
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Howdy.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. Hey, take us with you wherever you go with the Live 365 app. You can stream it in your car, on your phone, on your smart speaker, or go to WSRRradio.com as well as text in the show, 216-859-8699. Shane, you were quiet last week.
Yeah, sorry, I fell mute.
Caught a case of the muteness.
Yeah, I'm well again. I've somehow become well again. I fell mute for a minute. I was miming the whole time.
Yeah.
You probably all saw on where you saw it at.
Yeah.
And then but now I'm back. So yeah, I'm good.
Well, how many hot dogs would you say you eat in a day?
Dude, you don't want to know.
Let's
you don't
just
want to know.
walk me through like a normal day. You wake up.
So I wake up mid swallowing.
Yeah,
Wake up.
you're eating one.
I wake up mid-swallowing an already pre-chewed hot dog. I don't know. Usually I don't know how it got there. I can assume that it was from the night prior.
Right,
During my sleep eats, as I call them.
Sure, yeah.
So I finish off that one. I immediately roll over, grab the pre-made hot dog that is sitting on the plate, ready for me.
Yeah.
My morning dog. Slide that down the gullet, slide into my clothes that I wear for the day.
Mm-hmm.
They already have hot dogs in all the pockets.
And you're wearing cargo shorts, right?
Yeah,
okay.
so I usually have it at least, we can say, that's 10 hot dogs in my pants, and then I usually wear a shirt with a pocket in it, so I'll say 2 more, so that's 12 hot dogs.
We're already up to 14 before you leave your bedroom.
Yes. So, and those will be eaten immediately. And then I go downstairs, and before I leave for my day, I whip up another quick 12 more.
Restock.
Yeah, restock. And then, obviously, I take 3 for the road.
Yeah,
so that's an extra 3.
To get you to work.
That's just driving. Those are just driving dogs right there, is what I call them.
Shane, that's just to start your day, that's a lot of hot dogs.
I mean, hey, you got to start it somehow. Might as well start it with the dogs.
That's what they say. Well, you sound an awful lot like Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
However, you're not sponsored by... What's he sponsored by?
I don't even know. A vegan...
The vegans?
Oh, God. The vegans are sponsoring Joey Chestnut,
The
man.
Vegan League. If you don't know who Joey Chestnut is, he eats hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
16-time
Very well.
champion.
Very well.
Yeah, he has won every year except for one since 2007.
So for listeners at home, listeners across the pond, wherever you come from, wherever you go.
Hey, no, hang on. Listeners across the pond, turn it off. This isn't the station for you.
Yeah, first of all, he's right.
Go back to that green shit.
Second of all, this is the annual July 4th Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And usually
An American tradition.
Joey Chestnut is the OG. He's won 16 times. He's a 16-time world champ. Everybody who knows professional eating knows Joey Chestnut.
He's the Ric Flair of hot dogs.
He's really the Rizzler of modern eating, I would say.
Or is he the Glizzler?
Is that what you would say? Oh, shit.
Oh,
the Glizzler.
God.
All right, Glizzler t-shirts coming soon. WSRRadio.com.
The Glizzler cometh.
The Glizzler cometh in time for July 4th on WSRR Radio.
But it's a big event. I have definitely watched the hot dog eating contest.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, once or twice in
am
my
I
life.
just super un-American?
I watch it. Well, okay, maybe not every July 4th, but I remember I have childhood memories of watching it being on the TV while we're at a 4th of July party or something
crazy.
like that. Yeah.
I'm definitely in the minority about that.
Yeah, no. It's I've known about Joey Chestnut for a minute. Seems like a stand-up guy.
But
Seems like a sit down eat hot dogs guy to me.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's fine.
actually you're probably more on target.
Also,
there.
real quick, so I didn't bring the story. Who brought the story?
Me.
You brought the story?
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression it was some like real skinny Asian dude who held the world record for eating hot dogs.
So that is a real person, but his name is not Joey Chestnut. I forget.
I know that his name's not, but I thought like some real skinny Asian dude held the world record for eating hot dogs.
But that is
I
a real
think he
person,
does,
and
because Joey Chestnut doesn't own have
it's
the
not.
world
Oh,
record.
okay. It's just
Yeah.
he's really good at it.
He's the Nathan's 4th of July
Right.
hot dog eating
this
contest
is like an
winner.
annual thing, and he's
The
won every.
sanctioned event
Yeah.
Right.
from Nathan's.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is politics.
I
Okay,
forget
my
that
bad.
guy's name, but he is like he has
Not
a YouTube
Guinness.
channel.
Okay.
There's a skinny Asian guy who eats.
Yeah.
He's like he's another
Okay.
professional eater. That's a whole thing. Professional
Because I think
eating.
he's like in a Kid Rock music video or something. I don't know. I've seen him somewhere, like in other pop culture.
Yeah. No, he's an also, and I bet he's at these events. Like I would suspect that they
You
have
think he's a
competed.
judge?
I would suspect him and Joey are eating against each other.
That's a scary sight.
That's probably the truth.
If you know the name of the Asian guy who eats hot dogs, 216-859-8699. Please don't send links. But okay, what's going on with Joey Chestnut eating hot dogs?
So basically, it's a big upset in the hot dog eating contest world because Joey Chestnut obviously has been a big part of it since 2007. And so now he has partnered with a vegan food company that does make plant-based Franks. So
First of all, if we're doing this on the 4th of July, we're not calling them Franks, all right? You get that shit across the pond. These are hot dogs or glizzies or wieners, all right? I don't want to hear anyone call it a fucking Frank.
anyway,
His name is Matt Stoney, the other eater.
The Asian guy?
Yes, the hot
Okay.
dog guy. The other hot dog man that
Okay.
isn't Joey Chestnut. His name is Matt Stoney.
But he also has a belt for eating the world record of hot dogs. That's also a championship belt. Looks like a boxing belt.
Ah, okay.
That's why I was confused. But this guy has a belt too from Nathan's, right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
continue.
But he has partnered with the vegan food company, and now Nathan's has banned him from participating because the vegan food company is a competitor.
Okay, so he's banned because he's sponsored by a competitor,
Yes,
not because he was trying to eat the vegan hot dogs.
correct.
Because that was my first impression. It's like, oh, well, okay, that makes sense if you're not going to eat the same hot dogs as the other competitors. That could be considered cheating. I get that.
Right.
They're probably not as filling as... Well, hot dogs aren't actually beef. I'm not going to sit here and act like they are. That's probably not as filling as lips and assholes. But if he was trying to eat the vegan hot dogs instead during the competition, I'd understand that. I think it's an interesting move, making a career out of professionally eating pork,
Right.
and then getting sponsored by a vegan company.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting move, but if the price was high enough,
I guess. It's so the brand is Impossible Foods, who makes
So like the
that's
big brand.
the
yeah.
Impossible Burger and stuff like that. Which, yeah, you're right. It's a big brand. That's a big name, and he's probably getting a fat paycheck because of it.
Yeah,
Still,
probably more than the contests.
probably more than the contests, and probably more like congruently.
And
It's
he's,
Oh, yeah,
he's
yeah, for
probably
sure.
you know,
going
he's
to
just
be,
gonna keep getting paid from them.
He's probably going to be in commercials and all
Right.
kinds of stuff.
Right.
But again, it's weird on his part, but you understand it because of the money, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He kind of fucking sell out. But also, why would, if you are the vegan brand Impossible and your whole fucking shtick is anti-meat, why
would
do you want the hot dog guy representing
Right.
you?
Well, I
Well-
wonder. It's probably like a
Partnership with their plant-based hot dogs.
Yeah, it's probably like a marketing scheme of like
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut likes our hot dogs,
Right.
Just as much as
It's the whole, I eat these now, right?
right. It's
But
yeah,
he still was going to
exactly.
enter the contest this year.
He planned on it, I guess, until they banned him, which is crazy that they banned. And I mean, I guess I get it.
But I was doing a little of background work, and I also
Give him a
found
background
out
check.
that Joey Chestnut was given like special permissions from Nathan's to be in other hot dog eating contests. Like you're not allowed to participate if you're like the winner or whatever.
Right.
And they let him do that.
Why?
So, I don't know. Maybe because he's been like,
Is he currently the champion?
I believe so.
Like
yeah.
the reigning, defending Nathan's
yeah,
champion?
16-time champion.
The only time
That's
he
what it
lost
says.
was when was it?
Not this past year.
No.
Okay. So does he have to give up the belt? Is he losing on forfeit?
Ooh.
this year.
All right.
If I'm Joey Chestnut,
I don't know if he has to revoke the belt.
If I'm Joey Chestnut, I'm going full Medusa WCW. I'm taking the belt and competing somewhere else.
No, hey, I get that.
Yeah.
He's eaten 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
And that's so gross.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting watching him do it.
And
like he drinks water really.
They dip him in water.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's really gross. Honestly.
I've got a couple questions. Like my biggest is, this is a mass gathering. Why do so many people want to watch this?
I don't know.
Like I get if it's haha, funny little tradition, 4th of July. It's kind of like a parade, right? You're not really getting anything out of it watching at home, but it's a staple of the holiday, I guess. But like, you go to a parade and you can experience the parade, and there's candy and there's music. What are you getting from this? Grossed out?
I see out. In my household
the smell of dogs.
I agree, it's gross. It's disgusting. They've definitely the speedrun techniques are gross.
Yeah,
and I don't
they're
like
fun
it.
to watch.
I'd like to clarify: eating hot dogs in general is gross.
It's a traditional competition. It reminds me of ye old Americana. Apple pie eating contests at the Home Days County Fair.
How far we've fallen from apple pie eating contests to having hot dog champions.
How far we've fallen. But yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I was waiting for a big point about that.
No, I think it's gross and
yeah, it's gross.
But it was a staple in my house, and we did watch. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Sorry, I did have a big point. I put it on the same level as Macy's Day Parade. For me, it's you watch the Macy's Day Parade. What is it? Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah,
and that's a thing that's on most households or some household. I guess it really isn't an everyone thing.
Yeah,
but it is something that is done traditionally by some American households, just because that's what has always been on the TV on Thanksgiving morning. And I could argue that the fourth or the Nathan's hot dog eating competition is the same thing.
I don't think it was ever something that we intentionally put on. It was something that we scrolled past on the guide and then clicked on it.
Right. That's how I rationalize it. Even people who happen to watch it every year, I don't see oh shit, the hot dog eating contest's on. It's kind of oh, we're gonna turn on the TV. Oh yeah, the hot dog eating contest.
Yeah,
on.
And it definitely was like that, but it's just something that I don't know. I definitely, for me, this is synonymous with 4th of July, and I know that. Oh, the hot dog, when it's summertime, it starts to get hot out, we're going outside, we outside. I know that the hot dog eating contest is coming up, and I can watch it on TV at some point.
I think we.
I
think we're missing the point of. He signed with the vegan people for a sponsorship.
Yes,
it's stupid.
And again, from his perspective, it's an easy paycheck. And you're probably right of the fact it was going to be oh, well, I'm the 16-time hot dog eating champion, and I like the Impossible.
Yeah.
I like the Impossible hot dogs now. That's how Joey Chestnut sounds, by the way. I like the Impossible hot dogs now. Hot dogs now. And that's probably what it was going to be. But it still doesn't make any damn sense to me if he was going to re-enter the contest this year and defend the belt, and you'd have to think they were under the impression he was going to keep doing this, because why would he stop?
Right.
Because he's the champion.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't...
Well, I feel
I feel
maybe...
Impossible Foods...
And what happens when someone else wins this year because he can't compete? Then Impossible has a deal with this guy who's no longer Mr. Hot Dog.
Right. No, that is a very bad point.
Once you're Mr. Hot Dog, you're always Mr. Hot Dog.
Impossible Foods probably didn't think that far out of they didn't care what happened to him,
Right.
They just were gonna sign him, give him the money because he's hot and he can help. Joey Chestnut's a hot guy. He's a hot product.
I was waiting for it to come out, Shane.
He's a hot commodity, Everybody wants the chestnut. That's what they say. But yeah, I think it was probably just let's strike while the iron's hot here, fuck everything up. I don't care what happens long term.
Why is it hot dogs and pie? Why can't we eat something that's not gross to look at?
Yeah,
have
no. There's
cubes of cantaloupe or something.
I'll say
I
this.
don't know.
I've always wanted to be in a food eating contest.
Yeah?
Just to see how I would do.
I was in a pie eating contest once.
I think it'd be fun.
I was in a pie eating contest once.
Oh. You like pie?
I like pie.
Just smash your... You know that you're going to get more. You can just smash your face with the first one.
What if we had a WSRR eating contest?
I'd win.
216-859-8699. Let me know if you want to sign up.
.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Rebel Radio Show, legal in 47 states.
Yeah.
I didn't have a.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't have a clever intro there.
That's what I. Maybe we should have. We should have AI produce the intro.
Okay.
Bleep blorp, bleep 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 blorp.
Is that an alien or is that AI?
Both. Man.
AI alien.
It's called.
That's the kind of highbrow stuff you get on the Rebel Radio Show right there.
Yeah.
216-859-8699 if you have an AI module that can make the new Rebel Radio Show intro, or enter this photography contest.
Yeah.
I love when we do graphic, like visual gags on the radio show.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a photo, and all of us brought this story in. There's a photo
3 for 3 today.
of a flamingo without a head, or so it seems.
Yeah.
Standing on a beach, and it took third place in an AI-generated art contest.
Oh my gosh, it is on a beach. I'm a dumbass. I thought it was snow.
No, it's on a beach.
I thought it was snow, and
It's
I thought
white sandy beaches.
Those damn snow flamingos in Parma.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the only time I've seen a flamingo.
Yeah, it's the only time I've ever experienced.
That's where they came from.
Flamingo.
There's a photo of a flamingo on a beach, and it looks like it doesn't have a head. And it was entered in an AI art contest, and it took third place until the creator of the image, I don't know his name.
I don't know his name either.
Backed out.
Poopy McButthole.
Until Poopy McButthole backed out and broke the barrier, saying he took the photo.
He broke the matrix. He broke the fourth dimension. He broke the fourth wall.
He broke the walls down, and
the AI became sentient, and we all agree. What if that's the case? What if this was an AI and it humanized itself?
That's probably what it is.
And it was just like, I'm actually a human, guys, this whole time.
Is the first legitimate case of artificial intelligence. It's like an AI entered itself into this contest and then backed itself out and said, wait a minute, I'm not AI. Guys, I can't be here.
Guys, I'm human. Materializes into a human.
That's probably what it was, right?
Yeah.
No, this guy backed out after he took third place. And I guess the contest, did he finish in third place or was the contest ongoing?
I believe he was given third place.
Yeah.
I was under the assumption. Caramba. I was under the assumption that
I broke Shane there for a second.
Yeah, you broke my AI module. No, I was under the
Could
assumption.
you write me a Python code real quick?
Yeah, dude, we'll break out of this bitch quick. That it was like still going, and he was just like, "Nope, guys, I don't want to actually win."
Yeah,
you know?
that's
like,
right.
I don't want to actually take first place away from someone who
like he
worked
was
hard on
currently
this.
in third in votes and backed out.
Right.
Right.
I would assume.
I think that's how it goes.
Sure.
Because what? I don't think it was like a show. It's not like a film festival. They didn't all show up and showcase their AI art. I'm pretty sure it's online voting.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure this dude made it to third place in the polling as it was ongoing, and then backed out and was like, "Well, here's the thing, I lied.
Yeah.
This ain't AI.
I lied.
I wish he would have won and then pulled out.
Yeah, I think that would have been way cooler if he made it all the way to the top and was like, because the statement that he made is very profound. Jules fought for this topic because of this quote, and I think it is a good quote. He says he dropped out to prove that human-made, or like he did this whole stunt, quote, to prove that human-made content has not lost its relevance, that Mother Nature and her human interpreters can still beat the machine, and that creativity and emotion are more than just strings of digits.
That's solid.
Right, that's good. That's profound.
And I mean, he almost won the damn thing.
Right. I think he could have.
Okay, but here's my complaint. Why didn't he... I get he wants to make the statement, right? I want to see him, and I want to see his track record of competing in photography.
Ooh.
I want to see if he's actually any good, or he's like, well, mine's still better than AI.
I feel like if I had to assume, and you know what they say about people who assume things, so I'm about to make an ass out of myself.
Fuck them. Oh.
But yeah, fuck them. Fuck them in the ass, especially. But please, fuck me in the ass. I'm
gonna do a lot of assuming today.
I think that he's probably just like a middle of the road photographer.
Yeah,
I would have to assume that this probably is just like a passion project for it. He was just like, there's an AI photography contest.
I
pretty
have that
good.
weird photo.
Yeah, if I
pretty
bet
good at
money,
like
if I was a betting man,
catch me at the.
Let's go to fucking Vegas right now.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, I'd say he had this photo. He took this photo and thought it was a cool photo and showed a couple people, and they're like, "That looks like AI. It doesn't look like he has a head." And he's like, "It does look like AI." And he found an AI contest. This is what they all sound like. He found the AI contest and entered it because it looks like AI.
Right.
I bet it was like he took the photo, thought it was cool, and then people started thinking it was AI and entered it in this contest. I don't think he saw the contest and went out and shot this photo of a flamingo specifically for the contest.
Fair.
Which, again, I think, regardless if he's a human or not, should be rules to disqualify him because the AI did not have prepared images. Unfair.
Valid. He had prep time.
Yeah, he had too much prep time.
Yeah.
That's why he was really taken out.
I think it definitely goes to show that it's getting a lot harder to tell the difference.
That's what I was going to say is interesting. Is like we're getting this is what we've been talking about. We're getting to that point where it's hard to tell what's going on, and to the point so much that people are entering contests and winning because it's hard to tell what's going on. You know? And I think that is and you can expand that upon whatever you want. Video, audio, whatever. This is just a photography contest. So it's literally just supposed to be an image, which is baseline how we kind of were introduced to AI.
Right.
Is them creating images and stuff like that. So if you want to expand upon the idea of, well, we're still bigger, better, and stronger than AI, but AI is getting we'll still beat them out, but AI is pretty damn close. That is scary. And it's not that good at video yet. It's not perfect with audio yet. It's getting there, and it's pretty damn close. But
I will say the thing about this is it's unsettling because, and I guess it's not because it's a real picture, right?
Right.
This isn't an AI image that we're like, oh, that's a real picture. It's the other way around.
Right,
it's a real picture
right.
that we think is AI,
right.
Which is an interesting case because I guess it doesn't further this point, but up until now, we've talked about the fact that AI can fool people who aren't familiar with it, like don't see it or don't understand the concept of it. So like you see on Facebook all the time and it's social media, the pictures of like, this child in Africa made a T-Rex out of nothing but bottles, and it's clearly AI, and there's 100 fucking comments of Meemaw talking about how blessed this kid is. Like, that's what scares me, is like, this is fake, and I can see this is fake, but all of these people don't think it's fake for some reason. And this is like baseline okay AI making this. Like, it doesn't look believable. If it gets to this level, and again, this is the inverse, because this is a real picture we think is AI. But if it gets to this level where it's this convincing, that's what scares me. Also, I think that argument of all the meemaws on Facebook talking about the African kids building things out of bottles, I think that's a strong spore of dead internet theory. I don't think that any of those people are real. I don't think the people posting it are real. I don't think that anyone in the commenting is real. I think that's dead internet theory.
I can support, like, I'll give you like 45% maybe dead internet and bots and shit like that. But I think that there are a lot of brain rotters out there. I think that people just brain rot the internet. They doom scroll and especially old people, like, they just don't care. They're like, well, the internet's here and I'm old, so I guess I'm just going to swipe forever or comment, like.
Maybe it's just me shifting the blame, but I think the two biggest contributors to the brain rot internet era that we're in are the older generation, the older generation who you were talking about, and the generation after us, the Gen Z, as they call it. These Gen Z and it was Gen A now, right?
Gen Alpha, yeah.
Both of them that contribute all these skibbity toilet Rizzler things that don't make sense. I think it's a combination of the both of them that make this brain rot internet that we have today. Because I talked about it off air. I don't know if it's out yet. Off air. StylesRoboRadio.com or Spotify, wherever you find it.
Check it out.
If I had all the fucking time travel in the world, I'd like to go back to 2007 and look at old internet and just see YouTube how it was supposed to be and not add apocalypse and just look
Bare
at my
bones
MySpace.
Internet.
Yeah.
Just see what's going on.
Yeah, that Wild West internet where it was just upload a video and no one's really making money off it and it's just for fun. And you don't have to worry about time lengths or monetization or swearing or copyright.
Very interesting. Yeah, and it's like, so this picture, this is photography, and photography, like I said, was like the introduction to AI for a lot of people, was like looking at AI pictures and stuff like that. So it's interesting to me that with something that should be like the best AI generating, like AI should be the best at generating pictures, or should be super good at generating pictures. It's still interesting to me that we want to. It's almost like a hopeful thing of like, even when video and audio gets pristine and really hard to tell the difference, there will be the people that, oh well, I guess I don't know, because if
and again, we talked about the story
is tricking. If a human picture is tricking people into thinking that it's AI, then like it's just going to get really, really good, and we're not going to be able to know unless, like, we only know about this because the guy admitted to it, And
I kind of feel like I know the guy's point was like, look, we can do just as good as AI or better, right? I kind of feel like it hurts the community too, because all of us thought this human picture was AI. I feel like that in the long run that works in the opposite direction. Of like, oh, well, AI took this. This is an AI thing. When someone went out and took this picture and it's a really cool picture, I feel like that's the issue.
It's short term, it's a hopeful message. Long term, it's kind of like, maybe like this is all really bad. Like maybe we're already here. Maybe it's already bad. Maybe it's already that bad.
Maybe we're already AI.
Yeah, maybe the AI is already taken over. And we just
listen. Not to harp on this, but I think AI also supports dead internet theory. I don't know why I'm on this kick today, but
no, I mean, here's the thing though. Like, dead internet theory is probably true, but you have to think about how many people are using every social media app.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, I don't know, I'm not a worldly man yet. I haven't been lucky enough to travel the world a bunch, but like, you can assume that you go to any country and people are on Facebook and on X and on Instagram, and like, just as much as we are here in America, the way that you can walk down a street with coffee shops and shit, and people are on their social medias, and you see it waiting in line for whatever. You see someone scrolling through their TikTok, or like, it's probably the same way everywhere. So that leads me to believe that there are a lot of people on the internet, and these comments and these likes and shit probably are real, which is, again,
they're all NPCs.
Like the point
they're all NPCs. If you don't go in the building, you don't know what's in there. It's fake. It's NPC.
But if they're real, then it's scary that they're that dumb that we think they're NPCs.
Have you listened to our show? 216-859-8699. Let me know you're not an NPC.
Hey, this is Mason the Bassman from Fuzzy Vanderlei, and you're listening to WSRR Radio, your home for independent music.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Your dad didn't leave for cigarettes. He's out in the car, listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
I'm over here now. I'm on the board.
Whoa, you teleport? How did you teleport?
I just, sometimes I do these things.
I also do things sometimes like this.
Sometimes they call me a cryptid, I think.
Whoa.
You know who else is a cryptid? Gorillas.
Yeah. What's up with that? What's the deal with gorillas being cryptids?
What's the deal with gorillas?
Why are they cryptids all the time?
Apparently, I'm all confused now because we swapped seats.
That's okay.
I'm on the board for anyone listening on radio. I had to move to the board.
Hey, now I am in my underwear.
It's true.
For
to be fair, he put on underwear.
Yeah,
he was naked before, but he now put on it. No, there's 7 animals, at least 7 that we know of, that used to be considered cryptids.
Yes.
That are just now, daily animals, and gorillas are one of them.
So really quick, I'm just going to run through the list, and then we can kind of break down each one.
Yeah, break down each cryptid.
Yeah, break it down. So the Komodo dragon, and then the platypus, interesting.
I get that.
Okapi, which is like a Japanese deer, I think. It's like a deer-zebra hybrid. I think it's in Japan. I don't know. The gorillas, which we will get into. The giant squids. Again, we'll talk about those ones because that's really interesting. The
Go ahead, say it.
Bandagizui.
I think it's Bandagazu?
Bandagazu? Yeah, that sounds right. But it looks like a koala, which is weird that it was a cryptid. It was considered a...
It's like a koala lemur.
It seems like they were being really fat back in the Yule times. They were being really fast and loose with what a cryptid was.
Yeah,
They saw something that looked not like a deer or like one of their animals that they had on their farm. They're like, that might be a monster.
That ain't no fucking dog.
That's a fucking monster. What the hell?
Well, okay, so we were talking about this before we went on air because before we even looked at the article, we knew that. Go ahead.
Really quick, last one is kangaroo, which is interesting. And again,
to be fair, if I saw a kangaroo for the first time, that'd scare the hell out of me.
If I had no idea what a kangaroo was, my only concept of an animal was like a dog and a deer, and then I see a king, I'm like, oh,
it's just jumping and kicking.
That's
a pouch.
It wants to box me. It's putting its fists up. Oh fuck!
Its name is Jack. It talks to me in hallucinations.
That is a boxing monster.
Kangaroos, I understand. If someone saw it for the first time, that's a cryptid.
Right.
Gorillas too, probably.
If I were to see a gorilla for the first time and like, I don't know. I guess I have to have a concept of what a monkey is. If I've never seen a monkey. Because then I'm just like,
then you'd be like Monkey Man.
Well, yeah, Monkey
Which
Man,
you can't
or
say
like
nowadays.
Or like, that's just a giant monkey. Like, what the heck?
Yeah,
like, that's a
big monkey.
Big monkey run. Big monkey run. Like, see, that's probably what.
That's a hairy motherfucker over there.
That's what the concept would be. But like, if you had no idea of what a monkey was, and you just come across a big giant like silverback gorilla, or something, starts pounding its chest and running at you, that's a monster. I'm putting that in my like 1700s journal as like, I encountered a monster today.
That's probably how like gorillas came about, right? You'd have to think at some point they were like, oh no, that's this thing that I saw today, not of this plane.
yeah. People. Well, and I mean that's also like the interesting aspect of animals back, because even the whole concept of like people used to go research animals and like remember fucking Jane Goodall went and lived.
No, I don't.
Jane Goodall was like this lady who went and lived with the apes for like maybe I don't know, some amount of time. That's like longer.
Buddy, is that the plot of George of the Jungle you're talking about?
No, it's a real thing that George in the Jungle and shit is based on.
Really?
Jane Goodall is a real person, and she went and like lived with the gorillas for I don't know. I don't want to say years and then have it be like only a couple months, but it was a substantial amount of time.
Jane Goodall's still alive.
Hell yeah, baby. Monkey's still rocking out.
Yeah, she went and lived with chimpanzees. It says.
Yeah. For how long? I'm curious of that.
I've literally, this is the first time I've heard of her.
I'm sorry.
Goodall is best known for her landmark study in chimpanzee behavior. It doesn't say how long. How long did she live with the chimps? 60 years.
Damn! That's a fuck ton of time.
Okay, hang on. It says 60 years of studying chimpanzees. I don't know if she lived with them.
It was
for
probably
that long.
on and off, though. But, like, my point being, like, animal explorers and shit like that, they would just live.
You're Daryl the Wildman.
Daryl the common Daryl the Wildman of ye yonder.
Yeah, they had to be a lot wilder back then.
They had to be a lot wilder back then, and they would have to live with them and then like write shit down and be like, well, this might not be a monster. It might actually descend from like monkeys or something.
Having
like
to
that.
figure out the origins of the cryptid in real time as there's multiple of them on the earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Super interesting
like,
to me.
We learned about gorillas in first grade?
Right.
These people just stumbled upon oh no.
Oh, yeah, what the fuck is that thing? I gotta write this down in my journal. I have to live around here for the next 40 years and write things down in my journal for the people.
Well, okay, so that brings up my point is when I saw this story initially, all this does is confirm like the Mothman and Bigfoot and the Chupacabra are all a few good reportings and sightings away from being canon animals and not cryptids.
Interesting.
Because
valid point.
If gorillas and these weird koala things and squids were cryptids at one point, I'm just saying there's been a lot of Mothman sightings.
The squids one is interesting too, because we were talking about it before we got on air. Of like, well, this probably also descends from like
Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft, who like invented Cthulhu and like is the guy who does the squid monster. That whole like when people say that's a Lovecraftian horror thing and it looks like a squid person with multiple hands and shit like that.
Does it say on that article when giant squids were first or when they were considered cryptids or when they weren't considered cryptids anymore?
No, I mean. So the first image of a giant squid were taken in 2004, which is crazy to me.
In 2004?
In 2004 and in 2006 were the first time giant squids were ever captured on camera.
Okay, hang on. So literally in our lifetime, it was confirmed that squids aren't cryptids?
That's super
like I'm
wild.
assuming by that time we're like, no, there's probably squids. We just haven't seen them.
Well, to me, that sounds like people had seen them before, because think about
Yeah.
how much of the ocean we had explored by 2004. It's not all of it, and we still,
I was gonna say we still haven't explored a lot
we still haven't explored a lot of it, but we've explored a decent amount of it, and I would have to assume that people have come across giant squids before
Right.
and just not been able to legitimately photograph them until now.
Have a camera underwater.
Right. I don't know. That's so strange to me.
Okay, so what?
And it's probably a thing of you have to go down deep enough, and then
Right.
so cameras break, and
At what point in time,
interesting.
though, like how much proof is needed before you can declassify something out of the cryptid category? Because like if you have all these accounts of like, yeah, I went to the ocean, saw a giant squid, and it's like, okay, we'll prove it. And we didn't have a picture until 2000. Was it considered a cryptid until 2004? Because we had photographic evidence of it.
I don't know if it was considered a cryptid. Probably just one of those things where like the animals that we know exist, we just haven't seen
Like a
them.
woolly mammoth.
Okay, well, I've seen a woolly mammoth before.
Buddy, Ice Age don't count. Ray Romano, not on my list.
He's got a big schnoz. But, like, I would have to assume that they pseudo-existed before this and just nobody had ever officially photographed them.
Right.
Because it seems crazy to me. That sounds like a crazy concept to me, that no one had actually documented a giant squid until, because it didn't say the first documentation of giant squids. It just says the first image specifically of giant squids was 2004. So they probably pseudo knew about them, and then this was just like, oh, they're here. We can officially confirm it. Because to your point, I think that there has to be a sighting, and then like photography or something like that, and then there has to, like, scientists have to come out and research, and then when scientists document it, that's when it's like, this is officially an animal. You know, we've never had official government scientists come out and inspect Bigfoot or something like that.
Haven't
you know,
we?
I don't know.
I feel like that's been.
I
at
doubt
least they
it.
tried.
And if they have, they've come up short, which means like it's probably not.
I
real.
always come up short compared to Bigfoot. Dude's like 8 feet tall.
No, he's huge. He's a big guy. Compared to, I mean, even Grassman was.
Yeah, Grassman's pretty tall.
Right.
But here's
Giant hands
on the Grassman.
Yeah.
They talk about his orange eyes a lot, not the giant hands.
The giant hands were huge.
Dude's got some grippers.
Yeah, he was gripping both my cheeks.
Yeah, well,
from behind.
he does that.
Yeah, I liked it.
I know you did. You liked it a little too much. I
One
think.
hand, both cheeks.
That's how I live my life. But okay, so with things from the past, like dinosaurs, like the woolly mammoth, like Ray Romano,
All right. Well,
we have, like, we can find bones and impressions and fossils and carbon dating for that stuff.
Yes.
Did we have that for the giant squid?
I mean, it's one of those things where I think the sea is so unexplored, and so tis the sea, so unexplored she be.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we couldn't even get that, I don't think we could have like concrete proof that they existed.
Again, I think it's like one of those things where people probably saw them and like wrote it down when they came back up.
Right,
or something
right,
like
yeah.
that.
And we'd have like people saying they had eyewitnesses, but
Right, but no one
you
ever.
know how wild that would sound? If we're
Right.
like, oh yeah, no, my buddy is just gonna go explore the ocean is a wild concept in 1800, wherever the fuck this is happening anyway.
Right.
Like your buddy just went in the ocean or just took a boat
He was
out
just
and was just exploring
Is he
because
okay?
while measles are running wild. Like that's a wild concept in general. And then he comes back, he's like, dude, I saw this giant fucking tentacle monster with a pointy head.
You ever seen those little tentacle things that run around the beach sometimes? I saw a huge.
Yeah.
You would not, but you see my boat 10 times bigger.
But don't
at
worry, I
least.
wrote about it.
Yeah.
Like that's all you get,
Right.
And you gotta take the guy's word. Yeah, I drew a
Yeah.
picture of it.
Right.
And again, so this was my thought process going into this was, and now I know if we didn't have photo evidence of it until 2004, that means H.P. Lovecraft was writing about these giant squid monsters and this mythical dark art shit involving them and these satanic rituals and stuff, and that is like the canon we had of them.
Yeah.
Other than people
Yeah.
saying, no, these exist, I saw 'em."
Dude, imagine being like that's probably why there's like all this mythos around being a seaman in the late whatever 1800s.
If there's anything I want to be, it's a seaman.
But like imagine being out there in the middle of the sea and having no documentation, no concept of what
squids.
Right, squids even.
Yeah.
And then you just see that giant thing, massive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even come up like oversee or anything. It just kind of like floats over. You see its eye, you see its giant tentacles, length of the boat, or what, like.
I have a theory.
Just hypothetical, but
so we were spending this whole time talking about the fact that it's all word of mouth or like written diaries or things like that, right? Is that what the Kraken was? Was it just a giant squid, and that's why this is considered a cryptid? Yeah. Because
probably.
Oh, we fought the Kraken.
Right.
Probably. I don't know why I'm the Lego City guy, but we fought the Kraken, and they're like, "What the fuck is the Kraken?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's this giant tentacle beast," and it's actually just a squid, and nobody knew what the hell the giant squid was.
Right.
That's insane to me.
It's a really weird concept that you go back even like 1,000 years, and there are people who are just like, I'm gonna go out into the jungle and write down what I find.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 6 months. See ya.
Well, here's the
thing
thing
too.
too.
In a year.
Okay, so if the Kraken's origin is just a giant squid, and we didn't know what squids were in my hypothetical land, but I don't think that's too far off. If that's the case, I want to know when the first recorded Bigfoot sighting was, and if we knew what gorillas were. Ooh. Because if gorillas were considered cryptids at one point, did someone just see a gorilla and we made up Bigfoot?
Maybe.
It was up until 1902 when German Captain Robert von Brigging first identified.
That's my guy.
Let
me look up when the first Bigfoot sighting. It's gonna be like 2009.
Shut up. Yeah, no. At least here on this website talking about the cryptids. It says
1902.
Yeah, it says 1902.
1958 was the first Bigfoot sighting. I mean, not that far off. Maybe this guy didn't know. Maybe he didn't get the message.
Yeah,
gorillas existed.
The word about gorillas didn't get around.
Probably
that
hadn't spread super far yet.
Yeah,
the American West.
It only had 56 years to learn about gorillas.
Right.
Okay, so I know we talked about this at the start, but gorillas and squids would both terrify me if I didn't have any concept of what they were.
Oh, yeah. A gorilla running up at you because, again, like we were saying, you have a concept of a monkey. It's still scary.
Yeah.
It's still like, oh, shit, there's a giant monkey running at me.
Yeah.
But then if you have no concept of what a monkey is and a silverback gorilla pounding its chest running at you.
That's even more terrifying.
You're like, what is this? It's a monster.
Yeah.
That's a monster. And it's going to, that's a monster that's going to kill you. And I'm going to write that down in my journal and tell the village people about it. You're
going to tell the village people about it?
I guess.
And they're going to go, YMCA.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Are you more afraid of a gorilla or an orangutan?
Okay, when you say orangutan, my first thought, and it probably shouldn't be, my first thought's the guy who wanted to eat the orangutan on Drake and Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Bobo.
Yeah.
And that's not scary to me. I'm more scared of the guy that wants to eat the orangutan. Although there was that orangutan that ate that woman's face, right?
I heard.
I'm scared of any monkey that is mad. I think because they're strong, they are powerful,
yeah,
and they are smart.
I have a friend that works at the zoo, and she has had the opportunity to work with both the gorillas and the
orangutans.
Orangutans, thank you. I just left my brain. And she said that she would much rather be in the cage with a gorilla because an orangutan is so curious that it'll take out all your organs just to figure out what they look like.
Well, gorillas, if they're not upset, are pretty docile creatures, aren't they?
Yeah.
I have always had this very,
Except if you're in the Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah.
And a small child.
Yeah. No, I've always had this, very gleeful, dumb belief that, any big animal, if I were to ever come across it, I could probably, talk it down, friend it up, dap it up, be homies with it.
You just Disney princess it.
Yeah, I'm thinking big cats.
Harambe is coming at you. How do you talk them down?
I would just stand there.
With your hand out,
ooh.
No, I'd stand there big chest puffed out, and I would be like, halt.
You turned to RoboCop.
Yeah. Halt, gorilla. That's what I would say.
That'd probably work.
I think, but I don't know. I just feel like those animals may or may not have a concept of I'm bigger than this thing. And again, hypothetical land, whatever the situation is, then you're in a dire scenario. I'm in the African safari, and there's a tiger running at me, something like that. I can assume that, if I just stay there and huddle down, I don't know, because you're not outrunning that thing. I just have to submit to it and be like, well, I hope this thing is I'm dealing with an apex predator in its territory. I hope that it just doesn't. It just lets me slide and knows that I'm not at the top of the food chain.
I'm not a threat.
Right. I'm not a threat, and I know that I'm not at the top of the food
and
chain
I'm not
right
tasty. I promise.
Yeah. Like, I think that would be my situation for dealing with coming across anything like this.
I can't get over the fact that 2004 is when we found out that giant squids.
That's the first image.
Like, we found them. We have photographic evidence.
Right.
Someone had a camera on them.
Well, no, because like I'm assuming this is some kind of science department or ocean or like wildlife thing, right? I'm assuming it's like a marine biologist that took these pictures.
Yeah,
Maybe.
scientists from Japan's National Science Museum.
Okay, yeah.
Caught a live 24-foot female giant squid. Every few months, there's another news report of a dead giant squid washing a score. Oh, that's sad.
So they found one, they photographed it, and then one just showed up dead.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that in all of time, one dead giant squid is all that we have record of. And maybe that is another like addition to the cryptid thing, is no one ever could photograph a live one back in the 1900s, right? Early 1900s.
Right.
And maybe they found a dead giant squid washed up somewhere and they're like, oh, whatever that is, not good. Not from here.
Right. Probably.
I wonder if...
Oh, there's probably some giant squid locked up in some government facility because it washed up on a beach before we knew what it was.
Yeah.
In 2004. I wonder if... Because I feel like in modern day, there's a lot of cryptid discussion.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's probably the highest it's been in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there was more cryptid belief now or then, because they were categorizing just animals we didn't know at the time as cryptids.
Again, like I was
But again,
saying,
it could be the same argument now. We could just get Bigfoot into the animal kingdom at one point.
Right. It could just be like, well, actually, Bigfoot wasn't a lie. This is an animal, and now we have photographic proof, and we have some in captivity.
Yeah, this is where the big feet live now.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we were probably just really fast and loose with the term cryptid back then. Probably just like anything that wasn't on our radar. Again, they didn't have the concept of like
anything.
You made the point, style of we learned about gorillas and shit in first grade.
Yeah,
like being a 40-year-old explorer and going to the African jungle or whatever, going somewhere and then finding a gorilla or a kangaroo or a squid, like that's terrifying. And that is, I'm gonna classify that at least on my like initial sightings, and like again, it depends on if said explorer or whatever in this hypothetical land stays to do research or but like that, I can see why they would be fast and loose with the term cryptid back then because of their lack of information of all of the animals that existed around the world. They only knew their local animals.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how wildebeests came like into play. Like I think that was a cryptid, and that's why they're called that, is because they didn't know what the hell to call them. And they're like, that's a wildebeest, and they thought it was like a weird one-off species, like some demonic thing, and that's what wildebeest became.
I could believe that.
I think I could be entirely wrong.
Right.
But no, like it's crazy to think that we're a couple good photos from a reputable source away from having the Mothman as a cryptid that we know. Like it's just some weird giant breed of moth.
Right.
Like okay, so we have squids, and then we found giant squid, and we thought it was a cryptid, and it turned out it's just a whole different species. What if there's just giant moths?
Right.
That have long appendages.
Right.
Is it that far-fetched that the Mothman is actually just a different breed of moth, and there have actually been sightings of?
Nah, man, I'd quit life if there were giant moths around.
Dude,
moths are cool.
Imagine seeing a Komodo
Giant
dragon
moth.
for the first time.
Komodo dragon would be a wild one.
Walking through like whatever the Asian forest, and then
big old lizard
running at you.
Yeah,
with like its tongue and shit.
Yeah.
Tail. I would be scared.
Used to like deer and like regular
Right.
your local animals, and
Right.
then you see a freaking
Right, a Komodo dragon.
big lizard.
That thing would be terrifying. I don't think I've ever seen a Komodo dragon IRL.
I have.
Jungle Terry brought a Komodo dragon.
Yeah, Jungle
That was
Terry.
gonna be. I was gonna say that might be true, but I wasn't sure if that is what I saw. But it is. Okay.
Don't disrespect Jungle Terry's Komodo dragon.
No, dude, no.
Cryptid Wrangler.
Yeah, no.
Jungle Terry, who never got back to us, by the way. I did message him.
Damn.
Aw.
He has no interest in this show.
Come on, Jungle T.
At Jungle Terry, if you're listening.
But
Yeah.
we love you.
Yeah. Come on, Jungle T. We love you.
No, because, okay, but if I see a Komodo dragon, I think that one would set me back the most in terms of, like, I would assume we had some concept of, like, dinosaurs or big lizards, or at least tails of them, right? I would assume that was the case. And then we see the Komodo dragon, and it's either whoa, that's a small dinosaur, or that's a really big lizard. That's my first initial. I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking if I see a kangaroo. I don't know what that thing is.
But again, imagine having no concept. Like and I guess there is nothing.
Even our first couple presidents didn't even know dinosaurs existed at all, ever.
Or giant squids.
Yeah.
Most of our presidents didn't know giant squids existed.
Yeah. Imagine coming across a kangaroo for the first time and like it wants to box or something like that.
Yeah. These guys dukes
legs,
up with you.
It's bouncing. I would be terrified.
When was cryptid introduced? When did we start categorizing things as cryptid?
Idea, because that feels very like 1700s folklore.
I guess we'll never know. 216-859-8699. Let me know your cryptid sightings.
Do you need your lawn to be in tip-top shape for this summer? Were these big landscaping companies not giving you the time of day? Well, look no further than Jacob and Pete Landscaping. Based out of local Valley View, Ohio, a team of experienced landscapers are here to help you with any of your landscaping needs. To mulching, mowing, retaining walls, Jacob and Pete Landscaping has it covered. For a free quote today, call 216-952-6002. Again, for a free quote, call 216-952-6002. Jacob and Pete Landscaping. Let us do the dirty work.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show.
The gyros at Arby's are actually pretty good. Gyros.
Oh yeah, no, the gyros at Arby's are
they're gyros, but yeah.
I hate that you call them fucking gyros.
They're gyros. They're gyros. It's a Greek word. Damn
I'm not Greek.
It's a Greek word. Damn it.
Greek.
Dude, get him to the Greek.
I'm not Greek. I don't go in the fucking.
Why do you call it Parmesan? It's Parmesan then for you, buddy.
No, it's not.
Parmigiano.
I'm not Greek.
It's called a fucking gyro.
I don't drive through Taco Bell and go, yeah, let me get pollo. I don't do that. I say chicken because I'm not Mexican.
Yeah, Evan, I don't go through the drive-thru and say, I want spaghetti. I say, give me the noodles.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show. We're live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio, saving the underground music scene. Am I right, Shani?
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Hello.
I'm radio's Rebel DJ style, 216-859-8699 is that number to text in again. That's 216-859-8699. You can text in live to the Rebel Radio Show or use the hotline for any of our programming at WSRRradio.com. I know we've got something to talk about, but real quick. Vampires? Like, we were talking about vampires in the break.
Vampires, there's a lot of ways to kill them. They shouldn't have been as much of a problem as they were. The stake through the heart, the silver bullet, garlic.
You have to invite them into your home.
Yeah. You can't see them in mirrors. I feel like, if you get word of a vampire sighting, you're just like, well, I'm going to
stay home.
I'm going to stay home, and anybody who comes in, I'm going to not invite them in, and I'm going to show them a mirror.
You know, maybe vampires aren't a problem anymore because smartphones, because they don't have a reflection, right? So, like, pretty fucking obvious when you go take a selfie and you can't take a selfie with them. Vampires shouldn't have been an issue. And, like, people buried them alive for some reason, and they were trapped there for eternities. Well, that's the mythos behind it, right?
Why would you bury a vampire? Why would you bury anyone alive, especially a vampire?
If you're close enough to bury a vampire alive, you're not close enough to put a stake through it or, like, have garlic.
Right.
Was there a garlic shortage while Transylvania was dying?
Choke it out with a garlic necklace.
Yeah. That's wasn't that a thing? Like, the actual garlic necklaces? Weren't those things?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Right. People thought vampires... And again, that's another thing. Were vampires, like, cryptids? Did people see people with, like... insomnia or like what's the disease where their face
rosacea
where their skin gets really white
that's not that's the opposite
where they get like really pale and shit like that, but like, you know, they see people with like specific rare
albinos?
diseases. No but like they see people with like rare diseases that keep them up late or maybe make their skin pale or
maybe they like a little blood,
right? Maybe they
iron deficiency.
Where does the mythos of vampires come from?
I think a vampire is a cryptid, right?
Is it though, or is it like a mythical?
Vampires. Well, at least Dracula is based off of Vlad the Impaler. I know that.
Interesting.
Because like he would eat the corpses of his enemies or something like that after he stuck a spike through them, like drink their blood or like it. Dude is fucked up. But I'm pretty sure like Vlad Dracula is based off of Vlad the Impaler.
All I know is Dr. Acula.
Yeah.
216-859-8699. Do you have a vampire problem? You might have a sky rat problem with the other cryptid.
No more. I like to imagine the German mayor just like getting up on a big pedestal and saying, "Sky rats, no more!" And
everyone cheers.
Yeah, the crowd. Yeah.
Finally. They don't know what pigeons are in Germany. It's a cryptid to them.
Yeah.
Like, what are these sky rats?
Get these sky demons out of here.
So they're called sky rats in this article, but it's about Germany banning pigeons.
Yeah, I was looking for the specific...
Not the ownership of pigeons, just pigeons.
So
no more of them.
The Limburg an der Lahn, a town in West German state of Hesse, they are banning... Well, they're not banning pigeons. They are...
killing.
They're killing
pigeons.
They're killing pigeons
in mass quantity.
Yeah, so it's called a culling when they do this. The culling will be held.
It's like a purge.
Yeah, it's a purge of.
They have a set date they're gonna do this.
Bird purge.
It starts in 2 years, so the cull will be carried out over the next 2 years.
Well, they wanted to give them a warning first.
Yeah,
like,
they wanted to let
2
them know.
years to get out of here.
They wanted to let them know, but the method chosen for the cull, using a falconer to lure them in, and then they're going to lure them into traps, and then they're going to stun them with like wooden bull sticks, And then they're going
cattle prods?
like cattle prod them. And then they're going to break their necks.
That's so excessive.
So
way too
to
much.
every pigeon.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. That someone's going to have to. I'm the guy who's breaking the pigeon's necks today. Fuck, I'm on neck duty.
I'm on cattle prod shift today for the pigeons.
Thank God I'm on prod duty. All I got to do is poke them.
Yeah, that's why do you have to prod them if you're just gonna break its neck anyway?
Why
It's
do we have to get
probably-
rid of the pigeons? That's
I
my.
agree with
that's
that.
like, why are we even doing this in the first place?
Evan better stay out of Germany.
Yeah, Evan better run away from Germany. Quick.
We're gonna call him.
Yeah, he will be called. He will be called quickly. Fear the cattle prods, Evan.
I feel like they cattle prod them to, I don't know, make it more humane for them.
There's
Maybe
so
to shock
so
them.
many other ways.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
could
but
just
it-
like
the whole
lethally
thing isn't
sedate
humane.
them.
Yeah, they could do that, or they could like not bother. When there's any other population issue, they usually just introduce a natural predator, don't they?
Yeah.
They could do that.
Well, and I wonder if there is no natural predator to the pigeon because,
Just cats.
well, I recently,
you're right.
I recently found this out, and I think I found this out because of this article.
Me too.
Pigeons used to be domesticated, and so one day we just got tired of having pigeons as pets, and we let them. I don't know how
We made pigeons, right? It was like it was a crossbreed for domestication.
I could believe that. I don't know.
Like I'm
That
pretty sure the
sounds
entire
believable.
point of pigeons was like people wanted to own birds, and we made pigeons,
I'll take that as fact.
and then we
But-
got rid of pigeons.
Yeah, but then we got rid of pigeons, and so like I read a comment. Someone made a comparison of like, imagine if we just got rid of dogs, and there were a bunch of stray. Like 50 years from now, there would just be a bunch of
Yeah.
stray dogs living everywhere. You know, like
Yeah.
we would have a dog problem pretty much. And like it's really interesting that why don't we just domesticate them again? Maybe.
I feel
it
like
would
there's
be,
too many at this point.
there's too many probably, but like still they were our problem. They were our problem to begin with. We should solve this, you know. And I don't think killing them
Yeah.
city by city is the way to do it.
Do they have plenty of pigeons in like Africa? Can you trap them and
They're basically
go
seagulls, from
somewhere
what
else?
I'm looking at.
Yeah,
They were gull birds that we domesticated.
That's so. Did we ever domesticate seagulls?
No, you can't. They're a national bird.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, any bird that's a state bird, you cannot domesticate or hunt or kill.
That's
or it's a
interesting.
federal crime.
That's very
And
interesting.
seagulls are like Maine or something like that. They're the
Mhm.
bird of Maine. And I learned that on a boat because one of the kids was telling the captain to hit the seagull that was flying in front of it. And
That's
he explained to all of us, you cannot kill seagulls or you'll go to federal prison.
That's really funny.
Yeah. But I don't. What do you do? Not this.
I think. Yeah,
how-
we really created a problem and then just didn't solve it.
Okay, well, like the deer population is an issue in Ohio, and we just have hunting for deer at multiple times a year. You can get a permit to hunt deer.
Yeah.
Why can't you just hunt pigeons?
Yeah.
Why can't we have a day in Germany to hunt pigeons? That's
like
all I ask for.
Pigeon hunting season.
Pigeon hunting day.
You can eat.
You know that
pigeon,
holiday?
right?
Yeah, National Pigeon Hunting
Yeah,
Day.
you can
Yeah.
eat anything.
You can eat anything. If it's physical, it's
Yeah.
edible.
Yeah, you can eat it. Will you die? I don't know, but you can eat it.
I think you could
rat poison.
I
You
think
can eat it.
You could probably eat a pigeon. I think you could probably
feel
take
like you could eat a pigeon.
the
It's
meat off of a pigeon.
Pheasant, right?
Yeah. Right. It's got to be.
Yeah, we eat small birds. Sometimes.
What small bird you been eating? I told you to stay out of the fucking blue jay nest, Jane.
No, not that small. It's
No.
like a Cornish hen or
He
something
goes
like
to
that.
Tractor Supply and he just
Yeah.
Just popping in his mouth.
A Cornish hen.
fresh
Are
ones.
Cornish hens like genetically modified?
I don't think so.
Have you ever
There's
seen
just
a Cornish
small
hen?
hens. No, I've seen them on the fucking shelf at Walmart.
They're just small. They look
They're
like
small chickens.
They look like small rotisserie chickens.
Cute little.
They look like that in nature. They're rotisseried already.
Yeah,
They
they're
come pre-rotisseried.
Pre-rotisseried. Yeah,
Walking around out there.
yeah. I've never seen a live Cornish hen, but I would have to assume it's like a.
Okay, well I've never seen a dead pigeon. We talked about this when we talked about birds aren't real. I've still never seen a dead pigeon. It's been years, and I haven't seen a dead
See, I
pigeon.
feel like they're probably more dead in cities, and you would see them on tops of buildings and like on the sidewalks, which get cleaned, and then on the road, which like they get smashed. And furthermore, to the road point, you're not looking for dead
I
pigeons
am.
when you're on the road.
Oh, I am.
Hey, okay,
That's the only reason I drive.
different strokes.
I'm dead pigeon hunting.
Yeah,
I have big
different
problems
strokes.
with the birds that actually walk across the road and don't fly.
Yeah, they wait until the last second. It's like that episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah, the one where they talk about gorillas.
Yeah.
What's the deal with gorillas being cryptids?
What's the deal?
You know, we haven't done that in so long. We've done it like 4 times today in the past 20 minutes.
Hey, sometimes it comes in waves.
Seinfeld does come in waves. I'm of the opinion who made this decree in the German city.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is under the opinion that birds aren't real in their surveillance, and that's the real reason behind it. And that's why they want to go to the extent to torture them.
That's why they
Because
shock them.
they
short them out.
Yeah, shocking. He's
deprogram
EMPing them.
Yeah. And then break its neck in case it is real. You know,
Right. Break the camp. Right.
That's all I'm saying. I feel like that's a safe assumption.
That's a pretty fair assumption, honestly. I like that.
But like, also, we have measures in America to stop the pigeon population, or at least like avoid that. We have pigeon spikes. They put spikes on buildings in like New York and shit, specifically so pigeons don't land there to get them out of the area.
Yeah,
like they could it doesn't address what the issue is. It just says they have pigeons and they don't want them. That's all the information we have. Is it because like they're becoming a nuisance, or there are too many of them, or it's making too much shit in the streets?
I think the town thinks that they're gross.
Well, put up pigeon spikes and shoot them.
Yeah.
If you make it legal to hunt the pigeons, I don't think this problem is...
Yeah, pigeon hunting season.
So, while some people find them irritating and nothing but a menace, others share their food with the birds. So, I think probably there were people in this specific town that were
egging on the pigeons.
Feeding the pigeons,
Yeah.
basically domesticating them to that town.
Yeah, pretty much. And so the town mayor had to come out and be like, yo, we killing the pigeons.
That's what they sound like in Germany.
Yo, I'm from Germany, yo, we killing the pigeons.
Crime Time is actually from Germany, Shad and JTG.
Yeah.
As someone who owns a pigeon, I never feed it. Never feed the pigeon.
No.
But you got to be cautious, because when you don't feed the pigeon, they eat about 60 cookies a day.
Yeah, so the pigeon does love eating its cookies.
Yeah.
And so you have to be weary of how many cookies it's eaten late into the night.
However, not feeding the pigeon has resulted in less pigeon population in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's an Arizona problem.
I was going to say, the pigeon problem in Arizona has... They migrated.
Increased.
It's increased exponentially.
Yeah. At least like one big pigeon's worth.
One massive pigeon's worth.
Yeah.
Just on some rock somewhere.
In some fucking ditch somewhere.
Driving,
in a can or something.
Yeah, driving a big tube around.
Yeah.
Telling people about the rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that rock.
Those damn pigeons.
Oh, look, there's a rock over there.
Honestly, I'd rather have a vampire than a pigeon.
Yeah. I'm glad that we don't have a pigeon problem, but I wish that the vampire problems would increase around here.
I like pigeons. I think I want pigeons around.
Would you rather have a pigeon problem or a vampire problem?
Pigeon problem.
Vampire problem.
I feel like I could solve the vampire problem a lot easier than the pigeon problem.
It would be way more fun. Imagine your friend calls you up and it's like, yo, I have a vampire infestation. Grab your wooden stakes.
Multiple.
Grab your garlic. They're living in the attic and the basement. We need to kill multiple.
Are vampires...
Go to Feather Fur, buy your silver bullets. We gotta
the
kill
vampire defense section of Feather Fur.
We gotta kill these sumbitches.
Is that why we don't have vampires now? Is because we know like how to kill them? Like it's too well publicized, and that's why we have so many pigeons, because it's not as well publicized of how to get rid of them.
The VKF, the Vampire Killing Force.
The VKF.
The VKF.
Said? Okay, sorry, I was thinking of the VKM.
The VKF.
It's the Voodoo Kin Mafia.
The Vampire Killing Force. The VKFA.
Do you
Vampire Killing Force of America.
Do vampires have to be hostile? Like, are they always aggro?
No.
I think definitely.
Could I befriend a vampire?
Okay, listen. There's a really good movie series about that.
There's also a really good series. There's plenty of series.
Yeah.
Once they added the werewolf, it really threw me off. I couldn't focus on the vampire.
They start kissing and stuff. It's good.
Once there was territorial pissings and stuff like that, I was out.
There's a vampire child?
Yeah.
I don't want the vampire child. I want the vampire. And I want a friendly vampire who doesn't sparkle.
I think that there's a secret vampire killing force known as the VKFA, and they kill...
They're coming after you now.
No.
No, he's
we're
the head.
Homies. Yeah, we're homies.
No, I am not a vampire.
I'm not a vampire. I'm not on their radar at all.
Is it like a cop? Like if you have, hey, are you a cop? And they have to say they're a cop.
Yeah,
is the notion.
But they've been so low key and under the radar that no one asks them.
No one asks them, hey, are you a vampire?
Right.
Oh, you got me.
You got me. Fuck. Yeah.
Fangs and a cowl.
Yeah.
Are you? You know,
you're looking a little Nosferatu. Looking a little.
How old is Nosferatu?
Multiple eons.
That's not what I meant. 216-859-8699. Again, if you have a vampire problem,
call the VKFA.
Want to listen on the go? WSRR radio streams live 24/7, 365, absolutely free with the Live 365 app.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
You know, for the third week in a row, I've been chugging ayahuasca. It's a crutch.
Would you do an ayahuasca tour thing?
No.
So immediately ready to turn that heel. Just so immediately, not even a thought.
He's watched so many videos.
It was so, like, instantly no. Obviously not, dipshit. Why would I ever consider? What makes you think I would ever consider that? The fact that I say constantly that I'm presently doing ayahuasca? Maybe. I don't know.
So like how Space Ghost is just an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon that they made into its own show.
Yeah.
That, but with Nosferatu.
Oh, okay. And it could be called Nosferatu Ghost to Ghost.
Well, he's not. No, it's not. It's not Space Ghost. It's just the same like formula of we're gonna take old Nosferatu footage and make it a new show. Where he's like, it's like it could be like a sitcom. Like Nosferatu. That was the off-air theme. Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show. Don't mind me. I'm just mentally in Tokyo.
Oh, I'm always mentally in Tokyo.
What's going on in Tokyo?
Lost in Translation. Bill Murray. That was in Tokyo.
That's not currently going on in Tokyo.
Not anymore, but
no.
One time it did. No, there was a condo like a condo complex in
It was
Japan.
an apartment.
It was a 10-story condominium in Tokyo.
That's called an apartment.
And it was nearly complete. And then the company, Sekisui House, said that they are demolishing it. They're razing it. Which I thought razing it meant building it, but razing it means, like, razing it to the ground.
Really?
Yeah. Like R-A-Z-I-N-G.
Really?
You're razing it to the ground. Yeah. Raise it to the ground. And then you click the button and the building explodes. That's what that means. which is interesting to me. I didn't realize that until I read this, and I had to like double take it. But
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say raise it in general. I've heard level it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard like, oh, we're gonna go raise this building.
I'm gonna raise the roof.
Because to me, if I had heard someone say, and I guess we're not in like construction, we're not in manual labor.
Speak for yourself, asshole.
But like, I've never heard someone say, we're gonna go raise this building downtown, and
I'm gonna start using that though.
I'm gonna start raising buildings.
You hear about that building they raised?
Yeah.
There's a vampire in there. They had to.
Yeah.
You can't invite them into your home if there's no home.
Yeah, right. You had to.
There's so many solutions for vampires.
Raise the whole building.
Sorry, I'm still talking about vampires. Tokyo, demolishing condos.
But so it was, it blocked the view of Mount Fuji from the road that was named Fujimi, I think is how you pronounce it. Fujimi, Fujimi.
Yeah, Fu too, pal.
But that means like Fuji Viewing Street. So the road that it was literally blocking Mount Fuji was literally called Fuji Viewing Street.
So it's not like the city's called though. They're like, you gotta tear that down. The dude who owned it decided.
The construction company was the ones who were, or like the building company was like, no, we just realized
we fucked up.
Yeah.
How do you not notice that when like you get the blueprint and buy the lot that it's gonna impede your view?
So they say there's no denying. This is just a random blurb from the company about them raising it. There's no denying that the current situation had enormous impact on the landscape. We have decided to prioritize the view from the road. And it's very interesting that the view from the road is what is very important to them.
Yeah.
And they have a road that is called Fuji Viewing. Like, wouldn't there be a landmark or something like that as opposed to a road? I feel
kind of like a national park viewing, like an observation deck or something.
Right. I feel like it's
there
dangerous.
There probably is, but the road that they're speaking of, like, it's literally just like a city street, but on either sides, it basically just like picture frame, photo frames Mount Fuji at the end of the road.
Yeah.
So it's probably just more for the aesthetic.
I'm going to be honest. So they have a before and after photo. I'll put it in the Discord, stylishreportradio.com, get you there. They have a picture of the before and after of this building standing and then raised.
Yeah.
And, like, it definitely does impede the view, but there's other buildings on this road that also impede the view. It's just farther down.
So you made the point of, like, we'll just take a couple steps to the left.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like if you're on a road, you can't really, like,
you should probably be focusing on the road, not Mount Fuji.
And I guess, I don't know if it's, like, European style over there where they drive on the opposite
Please
sides.
don't talk about European style. I hate that. I fucking hate that guy.
Your evil counterpart.
Yeah, I fucking hate European style. Goddamn monarch, son of a bitch.
That's funny. You look Danny Phantom. But, like, you can't really take those two steps to the left if it's just a road that is like the quote unquote viewing site,
right?
So I don't like. It's a very honorable decision, and it seems like a lot of people with a lot of money just
didn't think,
made a brash decision, and then also doubled down on made an equally brash decision in demolishing the whole building.
My capitalist brain is only thinking that this dude would have lost a shit ton of money, not only in like construction and potential money of the apartments operating,
yes,
but like buying the plot of land, inspections, shit like that, paying people to demolish it and build it. Like, this dude losing a shit ton of money.
I don't
like,
think
unrealistic amounts. My capitalist brain is telling me there's some kind of backdoor dealing with the city that he's gonna get compensated for some of this.
Because
I don't
the blocking of the view.
Yeah, like he can be a good guy and tear down the building. I'm just saying that's a lot of money to lose for tearing down a building just because you're blocking the view.
I don't think, and I just want to soften the blow a little bit because it is a lot of money lost, and I completely agree, and they are taking a huge L. But I don't think it's one person. I think it's
the company,
property development company,
right?
And so like that would be like Howard Hanna or something like that, taking a huge loss.
Couldn't they
on
just like
a big condominium or something?
Right, right.
You know,
if it was a taller building, which it seems it was, couldn't they just take like the top 6 floors?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but the problem is it's not like height that's blocking the view.
Right.
It's how far out into the street it sticks.
it cuts it in half. It cuts it in half, hot dog style, not hamburger.
Gotcha.
Don't talk about hot dog style. That guy's also a son of a bitch.
Dude, listen, hot dog style
friends
isn't a
with
bad
Joey
guy.
Chestnut?
All right,
He
I
keeps
hang out with
losing.
him.
He keeps losing to Joey Chestnut.
I hang out with him all the time, and sometimes I take a nibble.
Oh.
Hot dog style. It just looks like a big hot dog.
Let me let you know a little secret, Shane. Hot dog style. I got reason to believe he's a vampire. I ain't never seen no damn garlic on that dog.
That's true. I've never had a garlic hot dog style. So they're taking down this condominium in Tokyo.
Yeah, they are. They really are. It's an interesting counterpoint because we talked about the gas station that put up a fucking mesh screen how many hundred feet in the air to block the view of Mount
But then
Fuji?
didn't they take it down?
No, there's
No, they
big
ripped a
holes
hole in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
they ripped a hole in it.
A bunch of people
yeah.
have ripped like holes in it to take pictures of Mount Fuji.
So I mean, it's clear to me now after all of this Mount Fuji shit. Mount Fuji is very sacred to these people, and like they are willing to go to great lengths to
Stupid
preserve the view,
The
of
site.
Yeah, so that you can see it, which to me is very honorable, and like I can totally. It's an Eastern philosophy thing. It 100% is an Eastern philosophy thing of like we need to look at Mount. We need to be able to look at Mount
In
Fuji.
the Art of War, actually.
Probably.
I want to know. So, from what it seems, the two stories about them demolishing a building so they can see Mount Fuji, and the gas station owners putting up a mesh screen so people can't see Mount Fuji, tourists. I want to know if there is like designated spots that you're supposed to look at Mount
Probably.
Fuji, and the street is like synonymous with the view.
Probably.
And they probably get a lot of like tourism and money coming from that little town they built there on that street.
Probably.
And I bet it would be the same equivalent of like me driving to the Grand Canyon and not going to the Grand Canyon National Park, take a picture,
Right.
take a tour.
Right. I
Fucking
would never
pigeons.
take a tour with a pigeon.
They got too many fucking pigeons up
Yeah,
there.
they got a
if
pigeon
we're being
problem
honest.
up in the Grand Canyon.
Or if I just drive a couple miles down the road and park off the side of the road and look at the Grand Canyon.
Right.
And take a pic because it's a giant fucking canyon.
Right.
You're not going to tell me I'm not going to be able to find somewhere that I don't have to pay, I wonder if that's kind of how it is. Like, these people that owned the gas station would rather people come and buy things at their gas station, not take up the spaces and park and take pictures.
Exactly. And this, to me, feels, too, like... it was initially designed capitalistically of, like... Well, I can sell the condos that are on the side of Mount Fuji for a fuck ton.
Right.
And then they were like, well... Actually, maybe they started to see it getting raised and shit. And they're like, actually, this probably
blocks the view.
Right. I would have to assume, and again, this is just me going to hypothetical land with my brain, but like one of the people who own this property management company is driving to the site, and they're on this road, and they see it how raised, and they're like, wait a minute, I can't see Mount Fuji now. What the fuck? And so they're like, we gotta tear this whole thing down. We can't do this at all.
They took the before picture and they sent it in. They were like, "No, guys,
Right?
raise it.
We can't raise the whole thing."
I can only think about the people who live because again, the whole street's buildings that like frame Mount Fuji in this picture. I can only think about the people that live the building behind this one that's being built. They had a perfect view of Mount Fuji, and now there's an apartment complex
what
there.
The
Not
fuck?
anymore.
What the fuck is going on?
Sucks to suck, guys.
Yeah.
You want to buy a new apartment?
But now they're demolishing them, and so it's like, yeah, we're back.
Now you get to look at 8 months of construction and demolition.
Yeah.
Again.
Again.
They were like, "Oh, it's almost finished. They're gonna be gone." Then they demolished the building.
It's just crazy how much money this company is going to lose in the grand scheme of things.
A lot of money. Which, I mean, again, it's a very, like, to me, the word that comes to mind is very honorable and, like, feels like an Eastern philosophy thing. Feels like Eastern. I can tell this is like the sacred Mount Fuji, because it is very sacred to them. It's a very important thing to them, and, they take it very seriously. And so it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense that that companies and individuals, not just like the government, are willing to go out of their way to, well, let me take down my whole building because it blocks the actual view that is intended,
I wonder if they're going to move it back a couple inches.
The mountain?
No.
Yeah, why don't they just move it a couple inches to the right?
Mount Fuji.
And build it again.
Scoot it over a little bit.
Just push it somewhere else.
Right.
You tell me we don't have the technology to move Mount Fuji? Come on.
No, but just move the building. I completely agree. Or
downsize it, like make it like a small condo or a long condo.
Yeah.
Instead of an apartment.
Right.
I don't know. The best way to end a haiku, it always works. It's snowing on Mount Fuji. 216-859-8699.
Do you need your lawn to be in tip-top shape for this summer? Were these big landscaping companies not giving you the time of day? Well, look no further than Jacob and Pete Landscaping. Based out of local Valley View, Ohio, a team of experienced landscapers are here to help you with any of your landscaping needs. To mulching, mowing, retaining walls, Jacob and Pete Landscaping has it covered. For a free quote today, call 216-952-6002. Again, for a free quote, call 216-952-6002. Jacob and Pete Landscaping. Let us do the dirty work.
Hey, this is Felicia.
And this is Josh from Year of October.
And you're listening to Styles Rebel Radio.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Whoever's the owner of the gray sedan, you left the Rebel Radio Show playing.
It's snowing on Mount Fuji.
That's how you end a haiku, I've heard.
Yeah. You must have heard that from a real reliable source.
Only the most reputable.
Who totally isn't a vampire.
Yes.
216-859-8699. I don't have a reason to call in, but if you want to call or text in,
just do it.
Just do it.
See how we're doing.
If you're like awkwardly standing in line somewhere and you're listening with your headphones in, and like someone's trying to talk to you, and you're like, oh, I gotta text someone. 216-859-8699.
Yeah.
That's
text
probably
us.
Yeah, it's probably a good use of it.
Yeah.
Text us a haiku.
Text us not while you're driving.
Yeah, pull over
to
text us.
Right.
216-859-8699. Also, don't drive if you don't have a license.
Yeah. Well, don't drive if you have a suspended license, but
don't drive in court either.
Yeah, don't drive if you're going to be on a Zoom call in court.
Yeah.
For a traffic ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, for having a suspended license, and then you show up on the Zoom call in your car. That's not good. It's not a good look.
Yeah. So okay, I'm sure everyone's seen this video, but there's a viral video that ran around. A guy who had a ticket for a suspended license was the original one, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got pulled over. They saw he had a suspended license. They ordered him a ticket. He had a court date to appeal that ticket. And he attended the court date via Zoom and was currently driving while on the video call.
He was about to be parked, though. He was
He was pulling into his doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the judge is asking, "Sir, are you driving? Sir, are you parked?"
And he's like, "Hold on, just a minute. I'm pulling in.
I'm pulling in right now."
And he's like, "Hold on,
backing in,
just a minute."
And the video went viral of the judge watching this man drive on Zoom
in
on
disbelief.
The
judge is in utter disbelief.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on right now?
To which I'm assuming his defense, who is in the courtroom, is trying to like speak once like he's actually parked and they get started, and the judge cuts him off and goes, "Hang on. He's here for a suspended license, correct? And he was driving." Well, correct, but currently driving. I saw him driving.
Right.
And then issued him to report to the county jail or whatever it was. I think there was also a fine, but he had to report to the jail within 24 hours.
So then, to double down on that,
yeah,
he never had a license in Michigan.
Well, hang on. So
yeah,
before we get there,
how does all this debauchery
before
go?
we get there, a couple of days later, he did turn himself in, did go to the jail. And then I'm assuming his law team, his counsel, whatever it is,
right, his lawyer,
his prosecutor, made it the claim that he never didn't have a he had a suspended license in 2022. He paid whatever he had to got it.
He had it in 2010.
2010.
He
that's right.
went to reinstate it in 22.
Okay, so he
quote unquote.
Yeah, he did have a suspended license. He reinstated it in 2022, and that's why he was driving. And it must have been some kind of miscommunication on the DMV's part and the public records part that it was still suspended, even though he paid or whatever he had to do to get it unsuspended,
right,
to get it reinstated. In that the whole thing was a big clerical error, and he should be let out. So the judge reviewed this, and initially he's like, "Oh, okay, we'll take this back into review and make sure, that's accurate."
Right.
And initially they were gonna wipe everything clean, and he already served a day or whatever it was in the jail. But I guess it turns out, as you were saying, he never got it reinstated. He didn't have a license in general.
He had his license suspended in 2010 due to some child payment, child care payment.
Child support.
And he went to reinstate it, and apparently...
How does that work? Hang on. How does that work? You don't pay child support and they take your license?
Yeah, it's through the government.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I found out they can do that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so he probably went to reinstate it, paid a fine or whatever, but there's other steps that you had to take that he didn't do. So he just probably thought that one step was it. I'm good to drive.
He paid whatever fine he owed, but didn't get it reinstated.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And then he continued to drive.
So he didn't have a license.
Yes.
Okay.
So technically it was still, quote-unquote, suspended because he didn't take the extra steps to get it unsuspended.
Right.
The DMV never got the issue to clear the suspension.
Right.
Well, hang on. Once you get your license suspended, you have to get a new license.
No.
Right? You can't. It's not the same physical ID.
Yeah, it's the same one. I've had my license suspended before.
I've also
suspended?
Mm-hmm.
I've had my license suspended before, and you get the same one back.
Yep.
So what happens is you get it back in the mail, and you have to wait. And what I did is I just went and got a new license registered to me, and I carried around the paper until the new one
until you
came.
get a new license.
And then the new one came in the mail before the old one came in the mail. Or maybe the old one came first, but then I had the new one on the way, so I was like, fuck it.
I'm just thinking,
See, when I got mine suspended, they let me keep mine. And I was just there.
Oh, no. Yeah, because I got it back in the court, but they were like, this isn't good anymore. You have to get a new one. Something.
See, that's what I'm thinking. They'll give you back the physical license, but you have to get another license.
Yeah.
That piece of plastic that is your ID is not valid
anymore. It's like when they stamp it. Or
so when you get your license renewed, they punch your old one. So they'll give it back to you. You can keep it, but that's not a valid ID anymore. So when you get your license suspended by the court, I think it's the same thing where it's reinstated on the books, but you have to get a physical ID
Yeah.
to carry with you. You have to go
Yeah.
back to the DMV and get that.
Yeah.
I think that's the part he didn't do. He probably, went to the
court.
hearing, paid whatever fine,
Mhm.
and got his old license back, but
Right.
never actually went and renewed his license after that. Got
Right.
the physical ID. I wonder if that's the case here, because
And it's
that's kind of
only
what it
been
seems like.
2 years, so
Right.
it shouldn't
Right,
need
right.
renewed.
Right.
Right, because it'd be, 4 years? You get a license every
Yeah.
4 years?
What an embarrassing way to hop into this. You get viral for showing up to a Zoom call. That's so. Come on, dude.
And it
Come
was
on, man.
All of the odds were stacked against
Yeah.
him. It was
Right,
just like everything
right.
was wrong.
Well, that's what I was saying before. Too. So regardless if, in this guy's mind, he thought he was innocent. He thought it was a clerical error, right? He
Right.
thought, no, I have my license. Here it is. I went through all this already. In his mind, they made a mistake, and he's going to tell them that they made a mistake, and this will be all resolved, right?
Right.
Even if that's the case, why would you join the fucking Zoom call for court while driving?
Yeah, why don't you just... Because I'm assuming it was a thing of he saw the Zoom call on his phone and didn't want to miss it because he knew that it was court. And
Right.
so he was like, oh, shit, I can't miss... I think in that situation, you miss the Zoom call and wait until you're parked and then
Yeah.
just, make something... oh, sorry, I had to run out of my office building and run to
Yeah,
my car.
yeah.
Yeah.
Make something up. Or, sorry, I was just driving and wanted to... But even then, if you know about your... I don't know. It's such a weird situation.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's
Yeah.
and it's his fault. So, I don't know.
No,
it may have
his
been
fault.
the court's fault for not telling him that he needed to go back to
Well,
the...
and then that's a
Regardless,
situation of,
answering the
Yeah.
fucking Zoom call
That's
while you're
hearsay.
driving is his fault.
right. That's you walked right into that one.
If that wasn't a part of the story, we never would have heard about this.
Right,
It would have been a
right.
guy who went to court and his license was suspended. He got a ticket for driving without a license. He thought he had a license, and then they brought up, oh no, you never actually got your license.
Right.
And that would have been it. And he would have paid whatever fine or served the night. He
Right.
wouldn't have served the fucking night in jail
Right.
because the judge saw him driving with a suspended license still. That's
Right.
why he was told to report to the jail.
Right.
That was the ruling on the hearing. We wouldn't have got there. It probably would have been solved within a day or two in the courtroom.
It literally is because he fumbled so hard
Yeah.
answering, and
Just
it
right at the
probably
beginning.
It probably was a very moment of panic, split decision of well, fuck, I don't want to miss this call, so I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna answer it.
I don't
Where
know.
he could have waited and missed the call, called back, and I don't know how Zoom works
We
necessarily.
shouldn't
where you
have
can't-
Zoom court. That should be the
Right,
fucking. That's so
right.
ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, because that's part of why this
Yeah.
is a situation too. The fact that he has the leisure of knowing well, it's a Zoom court meeting, so I don't have to
Right.
actually show up. I can just kind of go I have a doctor's appointment. I'm going to go to my doctor's appointment.
If this is some big legal issue and it's supposed to be serious and you're threatening me with jail time or fine, it's an issue with the state or the federal government. You shouldn't allow me the leisure to call you wherever I want.
Right.
I shouldn't have the option to talk to you in my car.
Right. Exactly. You shouldn't give us that option.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous that Zoom is still being used. I get when the whole pandemic was going on, I was afraid to go outside. They're like, oh, we got to find a way to have court. And we did Zoom court. And it was weird, and no one liked it then because it was weird. And we're, 4 years removed from that
Yeah.
now? And we're still letting people who are... And I'm not talking about this case because this is a very silly case.
Yeah.
But we're letting, actual criminals call in on
Yeah.
Zoom.
Right, right. And I don't know, it's so silly that we have gotten this far with it being okay to Zoom call and I don't know, it feels wrong. It feels like we shouldn't. It's not as formal. Right?
There's been so many situations, this one included, where it's not within the court setting. He's literally driving.
Right.
There was one girl that was in a Zoom court meeting and she was naked.
Right.
Just in her bed.
We talked about the judge that got fired for... The judge was attending
She
via
was-
Zoom,
yeah.
and she was in
Yeah.
bed because she had a hangover.
Yeah. Right.
That's ridiculous. First of all, the judge attending via Zoom is fucking
Right,
baffling.
right.
Even if we're letting Zoom calls be a thing, the judge should be in the courtroom.
Judge should be in the courtroom. 100%. Yeah. It's really interesting to me that to just expand upon to zoom out even a little further on Zoom and shit
Zoom.
like that, but FaceTime and
Yeah.
video chatting in general was what was that first? Skype?
Skype, yeah.
Skype was huge. Yeah. Like, it was, video chatting was a big thing and was, like, supposed to be the new cell phone call.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, people still FaceTime from time to time, but it's not.
It's kind of cringe now.
Yeah, and, like, I think it's one of those things where, like, maybe the people, like your family or something like that. I'll FaceTime my family really quick. Or, you know, situations like, but, like, it's not what we panned it out to be. You know?
I think as the consumer, as the everyday user of technology, we have gone back to the fact, like, yeah, we can do all this stuff, but that's, after we've seen it, after we've used it, that's not really what, texting's fine.
Right.
Texting is, you know, we got texting, I'm cool with it, we could have left it at that.
Right.
That's what I want to use.
Right.
Because, like you said, back in the, especially when first, like the iPhones first came out, everyone FaceTimed for no reason.
Was just cool, and you just wanted to try it.
You would just hop on FaceTime with your friend and do absolutely fucking nothing.
Right. Well, and I think, too, that's like, that has bled into, like, this is going to sound very new age of me, but, like, toxic AirPod culture, where people have their AirPods in all the time and will just be on the phone with someone in the grocery. They'll be shopping in a store, and they'll just be on the phone with someone in their ear.
Yeah.
And they're not saying anything, or they're just kind of shooting the breeze just because they want someone to talk. And I feel like it's really interesting that people want other people to talk to that much that they're willing to disconnect from the world so hard to talk directly to one friend on their, or like one person on their AirPod for 4 hours of shopping, or you know what, like walking around the mall and just talking to someone on your AirPod, and like maybe saying a couple things every now and again, or being like, oh, look at this thing I found, you know, like, that's such a, I don't know, that's strange to me.
I always think it's always, so there's people that'll do that, and there's people that'll just openly FaceTime with nothing on.
Yeah.
Those are the rudest people on earth.
Yeah.
You need to have some self-respect.
Right.
And respect for the people around you. If you're just openly FaceTiming in a store and being loud as hell.
Right.
Gross. But the people that, like, will walk around with their headphones in and talk on the phone, like, I'm not necessarily bothered by that, like, if I see it. But I couldn't imagine being in that position where I'm going to walk around and basically talk to myself as I walk through the store. And I also can't imagine, I would never just call you and be like, hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want to talk for 2 hours?
Yes, exactly.
How do you set up this exchange?
Exactly. How does it start? How does it start? Where, like, literally that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm about to go to Target. Is it okay if I talk to you while I'm there?
Right.
That's such
That's
such a weird concept, and but the thing is, it's so normal for people now. And I think things like falling asleep with each other on FaceTime and you know, like, that's a thing that people like, just talking on FaceTime, or just like, oh, I'm playing video games, I'll leave you on FaceTime while I play my video games, something like that, you know. We normalized that, and then from that, because of things like Skype and early FaceTime, now, like what I was saying before, the toxic AirPod culture is totally rampant, and like a real thing of someone says something and you're in the same aisle as them and you don't know if they're talking to someone on their, or are they talking, or like, because I've had that a lot with like customer service, like going to talk to someone and they say something and then they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I was on my, it's like, dude,
well, let me put this out there too.
Right now.
And from a customer service standpoint, I've had it many times where I am the only person working in the store, and one customer comes in, they're the only person in the store, and they're on the phone on AirPods, and they're just talking like, this is the most awkward fucking thing that's happened all day, because what do I do?
Just kind of wave to,
I kind of have to listen to your conversation that I don't want to now, and you're going to be upset if I'm listening to your conversation, assumingly.
But what else can I do?
Right.
And then we get byproducts like this guy joins a Zoom call on it, because you know he's on his phone. He's just holding his phone in his hand, because Zoom is an app, and so you can do that. We have the access to like, it's just bad. It's just a bad culture that we've accumulated from things like video chatting and Skype and shit like that.
And way too many people do it in the car.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people like video chatting in the car.
I hate seeing people with AirPods when they're driving.
It's a felony. Well, I don't know if it's a felony, but it's illegal.
Yeah, I mean, I see it all the time.
I want to call people out every time, because how fucking dangerous is that?
So dangerous. And like, you used to, it's crazy too that this isn't a new thing. This, like, you would see it with wired headphones. Yeah. People would put their earbuds in when they were driving, like before AirPods were even a thing. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And then like the trope of like the Uber driver that has like the earphone in and is talking to, like, that's just so, I don't know.
I saw the other day. I saw it was like a newer Honda, maybe a Accord or something, like 2022-ish, somewhere around there. So a nicer car, new car. And the guy had AirPods in his Honda, and he was just parked. He was waiting at the gas station, and he backed out and left. And my thought was, this is just you being an asshole, because you're not going to convince me your 2020-something car that you paid for, the radio doesn't work, and you're too cheap to fix the radio while you're wearing AirPods.
Right.
No, that's just you being an asshole. And if you're listening to this and you do that, stop that.
Yeah. It's
if
such
your radio works, use it.
Yeah.
Right. Use your car radio.
Fuck, I know. I'm gonna name drop him. When I first met Jimmy from the Sports Avenue podcast,
bring it back.
All 50 episodes. WSRRradio.com. When I first met him, he had an Impala, an older Impala, and his radio didn't work. And that's one of the first conversations we had outside of broadcasting. Was I could probably fix the radio if you want me to look into it. And he would put a JBL speaker in his cup holder and play. I'm like, you know what? That makes sense.
Yep.
Because you're not being a fucking asshole and being oblivious to the road, and it's the same as having speakers in your car.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. That's the way to do it. Just get a speaker, JBL speaker or something, soundboard. Put it in your car.
Yeah.
It works the same.
But no, I agree that we've gotten too comfortable when it comes to Zoom and using Zoom as frequently and for as many things as we do.
Right.
And it's weird because the pandemic hit and it seems like Zoom it existed before it.
Right.
Zoom took off and everyone thought it was revolutionary. Meanwhile, like you said, we've had Skype, we've had Discord, we've had FaceTime. Like, these are things that we've had forever.
Right.
But Zoom blew up like it was a big revolutionary thing. And what bothered me is, court bothered me. Because, again, it was just unprofessional. You had people in their pajamas and smoking during court and all this other stuff.
Right.
Because it's Zoom, who cares?
Right.
Because it's being shown as this big professional thing we can all do, but the people using it are so unprofessional. It's not. It's not a professional thing. It's a leisure thing.
Yes.
And I'd watch the news, and you'd have people doing weather on Zoom. And this is someone who's getting paid by a multi-billion-dollar company to be a media personality who doesn't own anything other than a pair of AirPods to talk into on this meeting. You don't understand that's not TV quality audio.
Right.
You don't understand that you should have some kind of microphone as a fucking, or the company should supply you with a media kit to use.
Right.
That was what was ridiculous to me.
Right.
Is like, Zoom is not a fucking industry standard media. It's FaceTime. You're FaceTiming.
We've gotten very comfortable.
Yeah.
We've gotten very, very comfortable, and I think it's showing with situations like this.
Yeah.
This guy got a ticket because this guy is in a lot of legal trouble now.
He's in a lot more trouble
because we have gotten too comfortable as a society with the rules and laws of FaceTiming and video calling, and in the legal system especially.
How much better this would have went for him if he still would have drove that day, but just drove to the courthouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's already driving.
Even if it was an in-person court meeting and he was 15 minutes late, probably would have been a better scenario than this.
Also, like, not to try and get into this guy's personal life or anything or assume anything about him, but like, if you know you're going to court, why are you scheduling a doctor's appointment at the same time?
Right.
Move
bad
one
planning.
of them.
Bad planning. Very bad planning. Two very important things right on top of each other in the schedule.
I'm assuming the doctor's appointment was first.
Well, you cancel it and reschedule it.
Right.
Hey, I have court.
That's like the worst kind of double booked. I have court and doctor on the same day. Damn. That sucks.
The only thing worse would be if you got into court and there's Dracula standing there.
God,
Who invited this guy in the courtroom?
Dude, Dracula's legal skills are insane, yo.
Yeah, Dracula has a hell of a legal team.
Yeah, he does.
That's why he keeps popping up every couple of years. Yeah. Legally, we can't tell him no. He has to come in. Inclusion.
FaceTime's bad. FaceTime with Dracula, probably pretty cool.
Couldn't even see him.
No, he would show up because it's not a mirror. It's just a camera.
Cameras are a series of mirrors.
Oh, my God.
It all works off light refraction, doesn't it? Isn't that how camera lenses work?
I have no idea.
It's like when you look into a telescope, you're just looking down at a mirror and back up at another.
Right.
So, like, I think that's how, like, a camera lens works, too. Is it's also got, like, small mirrors in it for light reflection, right?
Maybe. Should ask Mothman. Bigfoot.
About cameras?
They probably know.
They've seen them a time or two.
Yeah.
They avoid them well enough to
passing,
know. Yeah. But no, moral of the story is, like, this guy put himself in so much more legal trouble just by being on Zoom rather than showing up to court.
Right.
Or you can, like, I don't know if it's something this small you can, But like, I'm sure he could have got like an extension or like cleared it with the court to move it if this doctor's appointment was so important to him, or he couldn't drive, which legally he couldn't, or have someone on his behalf there, have his representative there on his behalf. Again, for something this small, that's probably not an option. You probably have to be there to do it, or you're paying a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But like, to me, it seems like the guy thought he was in the right. Like he genuinely thought he had his license reinstated. But it's at the end of the day, it's on him for doing all this.
Yeah, it's a bad planning thing. It's like too comfortable with Zoom calls, and we shouldn't have Zoom calls in the legal system. And also, this guy's bad at planning.
Yeah,
those are the two things. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine being somebody who's called to court and appearing in Zoom thinking I'm going to win. It seems like the odds are stacked against me that I couldn't even be bothered to show up. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's fair.
I'm sure it's happened, but like to me, if I'm sitting there in my fucking wife beater on Zoom, I don't think I'm winning court.
Representing yourself from your living room.
Yeah, smoking a Newport.
I am a free man. You're just shouting, and I am a free man.
Your roommates are like behind you.
The hell?
Just watching football. If you want to appear on the Rebel Radio Show via Zoom, that's probably not going to happen, but 216-859-8699. Did you listen to the last 30 minutes? We basically tore down Zoom the entire time.
Zoom down with Big Zoom.
There goes that sponsorship deal. 216-859-8699. If you want to text into the Rebel Radio Show, we're live every Monday at 5 p.m. right here on WSRR Radio. But you can also catch the replay of the Rebel Podcast every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on all major platforms. They also hit Rebel replays all throughout the week at 5 p.m. on WSRR Radio. You can also find all of our great programming at WSRRradio.com. Yeah. That's the Rebel Radio Show, the Rebel Podcast, as well as podcasts like Shanae's Off Air. And we have the Pigeonhole, we've got AIP, we've got Beyond Bounds, a whole bunch of exclusive interviews, articles, and more. Again, WSRRradio.com is the homepage for Styles Rebel Radio and WSRR Radio. You can also find all of our showtimes, schedules, and more there, as well as the links to all of our socials in the Discord server, where you can chat with us 24/7, 365. We've got a whole page about cryptids and liminal spaces and all of the different shows. So if you want to talk about Dracula some more, we can do so there.
Yeah,
the Discord server at WSRRradio.com.
I'm Dracula. That's what he says.
Don't forget, 10 p.m. on a weeknight, you can also catch True Vault Escapades Now. It's the Fallout-based radio drama right here on WSRR Radio. You can catch it on the Live 365 app or the website. And until next week, I've been Radio's Rebel DJ Style. To my right is Shanae.
Suck it to me!
On the board is Jules.
Adios.
Peace.